does our professional life take us on? Is it an emotional roller coaster? I mean, there are days when we're excited. There are mornings where we're just dragging our feet to work. There are days when we're happy. And there are those days when we face a lot of challenges. And that's normal. That's work life. That's how it is. But once we clock out, does that roller coaster end? I'm your host, Frendhel Fejeran, for Unfiltered Discussions. Balancing our professional work, our professional life, and our home life can be very difficult. But when you have the right strategies, you know what to do for self-care. It is very possible to balance life in a way where you can draw the positives out of every situation, allowing that to proliferate us to a better well-being. I'm so excited that I'm joined here today by a great panel of nurses. And as you know, during this pandemic, all our hats go off to our nurses, our healthcare providers, our frontliners. And it makes you kind of wonder, they're working so hard when they're at work, and how's their life when they're not in scrubs, when they're unmasked? Please help me welcome our panelists for today. I have awesome registered nurses with me. We have Shanarel Dement, Ruchelle Cabida, and Regie Cruspero. How are you doing, ladies?
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys have your cup of coffee or tea? Let's see it. Yeah? Ready? You can have some of mine.
I like your cup still.
All right. Well, I would really love to know, we would love to learn more about what you do, because we know nurses, yes, they take care of us at bedside. They help us when we're feeling sick. But we also understand that it really depends on what department you're in at the hospital or what setting, which really indicates your primary responsibilities and secondary, tertiary responsibilities. So if you can just kind of take time and give us more detail on what it is that you do as a nurse. Let's start with Shanarel. Hi, Shanarel.
Hi everyone. I'm Shanarel. So I've been a nurse for 12 years. And my nursing career is mostly inpatient, like in the hospital. But I also did ambulatory surgery. I used to work in a clinic. And also I work in surgical ward, orthopedic. I also did medical surgical. And right now I'm helping, and I'm a nurse in the community, which they call it like public health nursing. So that's my career. And as a nurse, I have the pleasure of meeting people with diverse backgrounds, all walks of life. And for me, that's very rewarding. As a nurse, we don't treat our patients just patient. They're just people, and also we care for them. We care for them as a family. And I enjoy getting to know my patients, the families, the loved ones. Those are the things that really make me want to be a better nurse. Yes.
Absolutely. And just by you talking, we could already feel that nurture vibe. Thank you so much. And how about Ruchelle? Tell us more about what you do as a nurse.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruchelle. I am actually a brand new nurse. I've been, let's say, a nurse for about a year now, but I've just moved here, so I've only been a nurse for 2 months. I'm actually on a surgical unit. So what I deal with are patients who just had a surgery and they just have to be admitted, and we just monitor them, make sure they're better. Like, for example, if there's any dressings, we take care of the dressings, make sure that it's clean, make sure there's no infection. That's basically what like the basics 101 of a surgical nurse. Like, that's the top layer. There's more, but then,
There. Hi to everybody. Hope everybody's safe at this time of the community quarantine. And pleasure to be part of this discussion. I'm Regie. I've been a registered nurse for 20 some years. And also a blessing is I'm a wife to a loving husband, and I have two amazing kids. For now, I'm employed in one of our public hospitals here in Washington. And my department is called the float pool department, wherein I'm able to work and have access to various departments. With these roles, nursing life is more exciting, and it also gives me, a continuous learning of what is going on and what is there to do. And especially with this COVID times, it is real challenge, and still on the other hand, it is very rewarding to be a part of this recovery.
Thank you so much. And Regie, Shanarel, and Ruchelle, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and all our viewers' hearts for doing what you do. And it's so crazy to think how intensive your work really is, what it entails, And just listening to what you have to deal with, I'm like, I'm stuck in the mouth. Like, that's the only anatomy that I'm familiar with, being in the dental profession. But, we can't thank you enough for what you do. So why did you become a nurse?
Well, actually, nurse is not my first choice before. But then I guess it's also like I feel that God always has kind of guide you to where you belong. So even though it's not my first choice, the university that I went to, that's the only one that is really close to healthcare. So my auntie told me, why don't you just take the exam, like the entrance exam for nursing? And then I did, and I luckily passed it. So while in school, I actually started to love it. And right now that I am working as a nurse, I could have not trade this profession, because it's one of those professions that you're helping other people. It's not just like a job that you go to work. It's a job that you put your heart on it. You need to be compassionate as a nurse. And also that knowing that you're helping other people, that's already a really great reward. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, as a new nurse, yeah, I see that taking care of these people, it is a reward. I like the feeling of helping them get better. I like the feeling of watching them go home. They're excited to leave the hospital. It's like I did that. I helped that patient go home,
Yeah. And, I remember watching an interview actually that you did on EagleNews Live. That you did mention how you love to be part of the patient's family and educating them. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So, I believe that the patient is not just the patient in the bed. The patient is everyone part of the care, like the mom, the dad, the brother, the sister, son, daughter, because they're also worried about the one who's in bed. They're also worried of what's going on. So, you have to take care of them as well. So they feel better about what's happening with the patient in bed, just to ease their mind as well.
That's awesome. So you're really a part of the patient's life, right?
Yeah, basically.
The people that they love most, their family.
I think back in the 80s, it was one of the fad profession in the Philippines. It was a way or a means of, taking an opportunity to go out of the country and see the world, like they say. So it was a very exciting profession then. Over time and over the years, I realized that nursing is a very noble profession, but it is, as my co-nurses here said, it is a very rewarding experience wherein treating the patient holistically, as they said, in totality, when they come in, you see the pain, you see their anxiety, you see their fears, and it also loved ones of the patient. So as a nurse, you kind of be the glue for this patient and his family, so that you actually bring the patient together with the family again. Our ultimate goal to make and treat and heal somebody who is, in pain or has a medical problem.
What you're all saying is very profound when it comes to taking care of someone, because not only are you helping them heal like physically, but you have to say the right words. You have to carry that nurturing energy, that genuine love and passion in what you do, because say their body's aching, but you have to be mindful of their psyche and to say the right words to help calm them and help them feel at ease. And then, like you said, sometimes it's not a happy ending. So now you have to learn how to deliver the news to the family in such a way, in a very delicate manner. So there's a lot of energy and effort that you have to exert on a day-to-day basis, not even an 8-hour day, sometimes 12 hours, more than that. So it's got to come with challenges, right? I mean, I cannot wait to hear the kind of challenges that you face, because you're sitting in front of me on the computer with your smiles and life just looks relaxed. But at work, how hectic can it get? Like, what are some of the challenges, Shanarel?
Well, it's not just at work, but like as a nurse, just the schedule alone, like, some of us work 8 hours, some work 12 hours, and it's a 24/7, like, especially when you work in the hospital, like regular jobs, they work like during the day, and then some of us work at night, which is really odd. And also, like, we work holidays or weekends. I believe those are some of the challenges.
Yeah.
And like, you're spending less time with your family too. That too, because we're working different hours, different shifts. Whenever they need you, then you need to be like always ready.
Right. And you can't always be there for them. So time, the scheduling, I can see how that can be a challenge. And how about emotionally, Regie, if you can tell us, what are some of the emotional challenges that you face?
Well, personally, I work in a 12-hour shift and a night shift. So most of the time it's a different scenario as when you're working day shift. You have more hours of being independent to work and to kind of control your timetable. And emotional wise, I think my co-nurses could relate to me that, not all patients come in with a pleasant attitude or with a smile. That's very how do I call it now? That's very rare, or it just that doesn't happen every day. Most of the patients that come in would actually be in pain. They are irritable. They are not in their best mood. They want to be just taken care of and be relieved of what they feel. So emotional wise, you have to consider this and make sure that you are there to do your job, and you're not there to be either a buffer or not somebody that can just relieve of these pains totally. So you have to straightforward tell to your
that would
patients
be,
that,
I think that's everyone's
do our
challenge.
best
Would you agree,
to treat
ladies?
you, to make you
Just having
comfortable,
to kind of
but not
customize the
giving
words
false
that the word
assurance is the
choice,
key,
the
so
energy
that you are
level,
not,
because we want to see eye to eye,
giving
right, with the patient and
something
communicate
that is
in
not
such a way
true
that
to
they can receive us in the most clear manner. After we take this short break, we're going to come back and we're going to learn more about these nurses, and they're going to tell us what life is like out of scrubs, unmasked, and what they do for self-care and self-love to help find the balance in life. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Unfiltered Discussions. I'm your host, Frendhel, and we are here with 4 beautiful registered nurses that have shared with us the reason why they've joined the nursing industry and why, and not only why, but they also described the things that they get to be involved with. And with all that being said, you know, when we clock out, we want to know like what it is that our nurses do. Because all we know right now is what they do at work, because that's when we see them. But ladies, I'm so curious to know if we have the same hobbies. Like, I can't wait to get into this. And what you do for self-care, okay? So, Shanarel, when you're not in scrubs and you're not wearing your mask, what do you love to do to take care of Shanarel?
All right. Yeah, everybody needs self-care, right?
Yes.
Okay, one of the things that I love to do is running. Running, hiking, cleaning, organizing. But let's go first with running. Anything that's like, you know, like going to the gym, or like especially nowadays, the gym is closed. I just go to my neighborhood and do running and explore. So one of the benefits of running for me is it's not only that it makes my emotional and physically fit, but it's also a stress reliever. You know, like if you try to release your endorphins, is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really helps. Those are one of the things that I do. And hiking too. I usually hike with my husband. Like we try to go every weekend if time permits, not all the time. I love interior designing.
Is that
yes.
your living room behind you?
Yes, this is my living room.
Okay, I like that.
It's just simple, but for me, you know, like going out and see like nice things, it makes me like feel so calm, relaxed, and just like having fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, those are the things that I do. There's more, but let's hear from my other co-nurses.
Okay. And Regie, you know, I want you to first tell us what you like to do with just Regie. And then I know that you know that you have a family, and if you can share a thing or two on what your family enjoys as well.
Okay, so going to the personal self-care, mostly I'm a very social person. I like to be with friends. I like to try new adventures, and you know, it is very rewarding to have friends who share same interests, and so it's already my way of releasing my interests and my passions when I do activities with friends. I try to become a better version of myself when I'm with them, whether it be in fashion, you know, we like to do shopping. So when I have younger friends, they kind of update me of like, oh, this is the trend color, or you know. So it amazes me. It actually amazes me, and you know, it gives me that pleasure of kind of being into just improving self as is. And going to my family, since I have 2 kids which are very active, our activities revolve number one with church activities. I think it's important that, you know, a family should have a common activity that could enrich all of them, not mentioning, you know, their age or their time. We just have to make time and have this one activity that can fit us all. And of course, there's cooking, there's cleaning the house, there's joining my son in his jazz dance, whatever that is, and also sure. And also I have this 9-year-old girl who is still amazed and interested with dough. How do they call it now? The
Slime?
sticky one.
Slime.
Slime. There you go. There you go. So slime and just telling stories here and there. So it's a busy thing. It's a busy world for me. And still a little bit of time with my husband, just kind of connecting every time of what's going on and what's to happen the next day, and still maybe what's to happen in the next 10 years. So it's always kind of like a roller coaster for me, but finding harmony and balance, I think that's self-care for me.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Miss Regie. Now, Ruchelle, you being the youngest, what is it that you like to do with all of your time to yourself?
Well, I used to power lift. I like powerlifting a lot, and I had.
Can you explain to us what powerlifting is for those who don't know what powerlifting is?
It's basically you're doing deadlifts, you're doing bench press and squats, and you would go up a level and another level. You go heavier in your weights. So, but then my main focus was deadlifting. I used to deadlift a lot. My goal was to deadlift around 300 pounds.
Wow.
Did you reach that goal?
I went up to 275.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went up to 275.
So are you currently working up towards that? Are you still deadlifting? Is that how you would say it?
Yeah. I had to stop because I moved here, or like I had to stop because I moved different gyms, and then I went into the CrossFit world. And then after moving here, and then with the whole self-quarantine thing, I jumped into the yoga world. So I guess I like to relax my mind and challenge my body. So like I like how the weightlifting I have a certain specific goal to reach, and then CrossFit I have a goal to like finish 10 reps under 10 minutes. And then with yoga I have to maintain a specific pose for a specific amount of minutes and focus on your breathing. It's more, I can turn my mind off and turn my body on and see what my body can do. That's what I like to do.
I like it. And I like how you say turn your mind off. And what I feel that means, at least to me, is just shutting everything off aside from that focus to what you want your body to achieve. And when we do that, ladies, I'm going to do a quick 180 going back to our what we talked about earlier, because with this great focus and the energy, obviously that you recharge when you're not in scrubs. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you're able to recharge after a long day's work, you are rejuvenated and you're ready to tackle another day. Now, would you say, making time for yourself with your hobbies, working out, being with family, being with friends, baking, decorating your home, going on hikes, like, is this helping you extract all the positives from the situations at work?
Definitely.
Yeah. And Shanarel, like thinking back at one of your challenges, if you can just let's revisit one of those challenges and tell me about, because what you mentioned is the time schedule, is just, that was the challenge. So what is the positive? What positive can you take from working on weekends?
Well, I would say like for example, working weekend, like there's less people, the administration or your managers are not there. That's one of the things. But I think it's just different working weekend, because like being like unique, everybody else is at home, but then you're out there and working. That also helped me to, like, I'm important, I'm valuable, because I'm here helping other people instead of just like being in the house.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Thank you. And, let's stay on this positive train real quick. Now, Regie, one of your challenges that you face are the emotional challenges, as well as Ruchelle. So what positive can you extract from receiving patients that don't have that light vibe, that smile on their face? So what can you take from, what are we learning from patients who are just mad at life? Regie.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I always have these first impressions with my patients according to their facial expressions. So I think being positive inside kind of exudes outside, and you can already tell when a person is, accepting or just have that strong barrier and quite, how to call this, close-minded, cannot understand or won't take any understanding or options. So my learning is that since I'm the one that is to understand, I tend, or I try my very best to be flexible. If you need space, I give you space. If you need time, I give you time. And if you need me, to be there, then I'll be there. Sometimes being physically there and just, being quiet or just have that comfortable silence is already healing for patients. So for me, my job is an emotional challenge itself. But when you have the right attitude and when you have the right perspective and you know what's your goal for being in that profession, I think it just, makes life smoother and makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah. I love it. And I don't know what else to say to that. Ruchelle, is there anything that you like to add? I know that I asked you about like if there's any physical challenges, but obviously you work out. So I'm not going to say like you get tired. You can probably stand on your feet for like 24 hours, 7 days a week and be all right.
I feel like the only physical thing though is like having to, hold in your
There we go.
holding in your pee for a very long period of time. That's
Right.
my challenge, basically. But to add on to Reggie's comment about just being there for somebody, even being silent, that is the one thing I do. Like I feel their tension, like once they're admitted, I feel their tension and everything. But then just being there, just like even if I'm just on the computer, like asking, oh, what's your favorite, I don't know, what do you want to eat today or something, maybe I can try to get it, and I could feel that they're getting calmer and calmer and calmer, and then that's when they open up.
Yeah.
And then that's something I learned throughout my 2 months of being a nurse.
And that's a lot of learning.
Yeah,
it's very valuable to learn early on, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Shanarel, the show is about how we can balance our work life and our home life, the positives that we can take from every situation. So we've heard the positives from the challenges at work, and now I want to kind of like transition to how we can balance both. Because I know some of us, and Ruchelle, in our previous discussions, you had mentioned that it was hard for you to kind of separate yourself from work when you're at home. And when you can't do that, are we really balancing work and home life? Because then it's not really fair to your family or your husband or your spouse that you're all hooped up and stressed out about work and you're taking it out on them, right? So what kind of tips, Shanarel, can you give us on how to balance?
Well, one of them is, I would say, like time management. because like what I've said on the earlier part of the show, that as a nurse we work different shifts, different days, like sometimes weekend, and that time management, like just having time with your loved ones, it's very important. Find time, no matter how busy life gets, find time for your loved ones. Those are the things that I usually do.
Awesome. And I'm sure all of us can agree to the importance and value of time management, right? And I want to just elaborate on that before we close our first show of Unfiltered Discussions. Is, time management is super important, but also being able to department. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, you've dedicated, let's say Friday night, right, is date night or family night or friends night. In that time frame, how do you really take advantage of that time? Are you going to think about work when you're there on date night? No, but you have to really just put all your energy and focus on your family, your friends, that you're there, because it's pointless, right? If you're sitting there physically, but emotionally, like, you're checked out and still at work, right? So when you're at home, you got to check out of work and be home. And one of the things that I learned for myself too, and also from learning from the three of you, is the minute I go home, I've learned to leave my phone in the car for at least a solid hour. And that has allowed me to check out of my not only my work life, but my collateral duties and other projects that are on my phone. And I dedicate the first hour coming home to my family. So I'm eliminating the distraction to give full focus and to allow the quality time to happen between my family and I. So that's some of the things that I have learned to do to help me also balance my work life and family life. We would like to thank each of you, Regie, Shanarel, and Ruchelle, for joining us today on this show. If we can, I'll give them a round of applause. Yay! Are you really applauding out there? Yes, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies. We really learned a lot from your stories, and we look forward to our next episode of Unfiltered Discussions, where we will meet another panel of professional women who now have a new workmate and find out the realities of relationships. Stay tuned for Unfiltered Discussions. I'm your host, Frendhel Fejeran.